I'm live. Okay. Hello, everybody. Hello, Latnivania. I still don't know whether I'm pronouncing your name right. Oh, dear. Okay. So let us start. I'm going to take just 1 minute to allow more people to join. Although today is such a lovely day that I don't know whether we'll have many people here. It's an absolutely gorgeous day here in England. Oh, look at my hair. Anyway. Okay. Oh, it's the other way. Okay. I can never do it right. Never mind. All right. So, yes, today is my birthday, folks. Oh, let me hold on while you're there. Let me sort out that light. Seems to be not quite right. Oh, I think. Okay. Okay, I'm comfortable now. Yes, hello, everybody. Yes, today is my birthday, and I've been working in the garden a little bit, and it's doing fine. It's not very big, but it's a tiny little thing there that I love. Anyway, so with a beautiful day and my beautiful garden, and it's my birthday. And why am I going to talk about war? I'll try not to depress you. I don't want to do that. I would like to talk about happy things, but it's just that I saw early this morning a video from Gaza. Apparently, they are bombing the tents. The tents, you know, the little tents that they have there, and there are women and children inside. They have been bombing those. I think we need to take a little bit of time to reflect on this, you know, bombing tents. And also the fact that they were reporting on, while this war with Iran was going on, the war in Gaza didn't stop. And apparently there are reports that in the last 3 days, about 50 children died of starvation. They starved to death. I think we need to take it in, as it were. Children are dying of starvation. We're told that Israel is the one, they are the ones who are coordinating the aid, the help, the food supply. And we also heard reports that when the children and the women rush to get the food, sometimes they are bombed and killed there from trucks. So I don't know if I were in that situation, would I go and get food? Because the choice that you have is to go and get food because you're starving and to be killed, or to die of starvation. What a choice. And I, watching videos from some of the young soldiers and other people there, settlers, who upload videos laughing and all that sort of thing, you know, with putting their names on the bullets and the missiles and so on. I don't know whether I would actually go and get food from them. But I just mention it because it's something that is just getting very, very ugly. And I don't know how the whole world is going to deal with this when it's over. One day it will be over, and how we are going to look at ourselves. certainly during the war with Iran, those 12 days, the news from Israel was very much censored. That is what we are told. I don't know, I'm not there, but there were not many pictures coming out or anything. But apparently there has been quite a lot of destruction there. I was listening to the former, he's retired now, Alistair Crook, who was shall we say, a diplomat. He was working for MI6 in his earlier life. And he tells us that the 3 ports, Israel has 3 main ports, and they have all been targeted and a lot of damage there. For example, the port in Haifa, huge damage there. Is not functioning, the refineries, just about everything actually. Major, most of the major centers have been damaged considerably. So it seems that perhaps Israel is such a tiny little country. Iran can perhaps withstand a little bit more because it's a huge country. I understand that it is, I heard about 3 times the size of Ukraine. It's about the size of certainly the major part of Western Europe. And with 92 million people, if it goes on, perhaps it could withstand it a little bit better. But Israel being such a tiny little place, I think it is probably them who said they were running out of interceptors. And it seems that it was them that asked President Trump to stop it to see if it could be stopped, which was very, very confusing because we didn't quite know. I mean, President Trump sending, tweets and in Truth Social, different messages. We didn't know exactly what was happening. So he announced a ceasefire, but apparently it hadn't been, it was not really a formal ceasefire, what is going on, because for a ceasefire, there has to be an agreement, there has to be a procedure that is followed. It has to be a very detailed kind of document that you need. So I think this is an end of hostilities for a while, however brief. So President Trump just put this notice there, okay, ceasefire, and that was it. And probably both of them needed a breath. Both parties are tired. In any case, my question to you is, what is the ultimate objective here? Is it really the fact that Iran was building nuclear weapons, or was that an excuse, as some people suggest, for another objective, a far more reaching objective? The International Atomic Agency, I was distraught in that the director, Rafael Grossi, who is an Argentinian, we are told, and well, it's more than being told, is that Iran actually produced some documents to show that this International Atomic Agency, when they did their inspections, and apparently they did quite a few over the years. Apparently, I heard like they were inspected like 20% more times than any other country, and apparently he was getting all that information, okay, of the inspections and who the people were there and so on, that he was actually sharing that information with Israel. That would be, if that is true, and Iran produced the documents apparently, if that is true, I mean, he should resign immediately. When people started talking about these documents that Iran released, then he came sort of 2 days later and said, well, no, we hadn't found any actual proof that this was going on, but the possibility is there. He was trying to a little bit whitewash the whole thing. But the idea that the agency would be sharing information with Israel is very, very distressing, isn't it? And how, if that is true, how are we going to trust any international agency, really? What I find a little bit weird is that, you see, Iran was a signatory to these, whatever it is, inspections that they have to do, right? And they did those inspections. Israel is not. Israel has never been inspected. Israel, we are told they actually stole all this information, how to do nuclear weapons and so on, from the United States in the late 50s or early 60s, something that President Kennedy was very upset about, and he was trying to do something about it. And anyway, he couldn't because he died. Yeah. But my point is that they have never been inspected. This is the problem I have. They have never been inspected. They haven't acknowledged, even though everybody knows that they do have nuclear weapons, they will not accept anyone to come and inspect them. And this is the thing. And they are the ones who complain about Iran not allowing inspectors there, which they did. And the proof is there of the many inspections that they have had. What do you make of this? Because it's not logical. How can a country that does not allow inspectors complain to the world that those people over there who are getting inspections are not getting inspections? You know, it's like the same thing about the another riddle is also like, you know, the anti-Semite thing. Okay, we know that 80% of the people in Israel are not from the Semitic race. Yes, they're not originally from that part of the world. The Palestinians are, the Arabs are, but not them. They come from Eastern Europe, right? So, but if you say something that, or if you complain or attack Israel in your commentaries or whatever, they charge you as anti-Semite, but they are not Semite. The Palestinians are Semite. I mean, I did, you know, I can't get it around my head. It's no longer a question of hypocrisy. It's a question of, I don't care. I'm just going to say whatever, and there are no moral demarcations here. So my question is, nevertheless, because Israel was damaged considerably, and in the next days we will be seeing the destruction. We know that a lot of people are leaving, and they're going to Cyprus, and many of them, I have already said in one video that many of them are going to Argentina and Chile, the Patagonia there. So it is a little bit distressing that the way the media is covering is as if it was a game or something. Who won? Who didn't win? Who lost? Oh, here it comes, as if it was a football match, you know. Oh, here he is running there, bomb, goal. Have we been totally dehumanized? And what is the result of this if we are so dehumanized? Anyway, so the question is, nevertheless, what they're saying is that what I hear in commentaries is that Israel needed to obtain their objective, which was the destruction, really, of either nuclear, whatever it was, or regime change or whatever, and that they did not achieve. They had obviously infiltrated, all the PowerPoints to such an extent that they managed to kill, I believe, is about 40 Iranians in the high command, between the high command and all these people who are the scientists and so on. So totally infiltrated. So obviously Iran will have to try to repair that. But they didn't achieve, I don't think, what they wanted to achieve. And now it is possible that indeed Iran will say, well, we do need to have this availability to nuclear weapons. I think that is what other countries are learning, that if you do have nuclear weapons like North Korea, then no one bothers you. It is when you don't have them or you give them up, as Iraq, or, that you are attacked. So apparently, Iran has already told the agency, the International Atomic Agency, that the director is not welcome, and it is possible that they will not allow them now to come and in other words, they are leaving that. Okay, so more things here. European countries, surprising, or perhaps not so surprising, that they haven't taken a more robust, a more intelligent, a more humane, a more legal, really, stance on this. The UK Prime Minister does not explicitly talk about Gaza right now because it is probably legally, and he is a lawyer, legally it might prove very inconvenient. Arms sales, all the rest of it. So the Israelis seem to have a very powerful lobby to, protect financial interests and so on. And the politicians, well, if you want to, it seems that if you want to have a political career, you have to, and the people in the media too, you will have to swallow a lot and not open your mouth. That is if you want to have your career. So on whose behalf are decisions being made? As I said, our prime minister here is not saying too much about Iran at the moment, and practically nothing about Gaza. I think that this is, personally, I think this is a disservice to the nation, a disservice to, because they're not preserving international law that I can see. Well, they say that yes, Iran was trying to build nuclear weapons, and they would have nuclear weapons in 2 weeks, in 2 months, in 2 years. But we know, you have probably seen the videos there, that Netanyahu has been saying this. The first time that he said it was in 1984. In any case, there has been a lot of talk, but no documents, no information has been produced to prove that this time that Iran was going to drop a nuclear bomb on Israel. And nothing, I mean, lots of talk, yes, we know, and so on, but no documentary evidence of that. Tulsi Gabbard, or Tulsi Gabbard, I'm not sure how she pronounces her name. As you know, in March, the head of the intelligence service in the United States, before Congress, he gave them a formal assessment on March the 25th. So if that there was no indication that they were building nuclear weapons, if such a threat was there, they would have been able to document it. We would have heard about it. Yes, you can, as a country, attack in self-defense, obviously. And moreover, you don't actually have to wait until you have been attacked to defend yourself. But you do have to have documentary evidence, probable information that this is so, documents for believing that such attack is being planned against you. It's not just a question of saying we believe that because they hate us and they are our enemies. You have to produce the evidence. So you have to produce the evidence that the attack is imminent, that the attack is credible, that the aggressor has the means to carry out that threat, and that you have gone through the diplomatic means to prevent the threat. All the diplomatic means in the international organizations that in order for that threat, but you have done everything possible, okay, for the threat to have been exhausted. You have just done just about everything you could. Iran, it seemed, remained open to the negotiations, and they were actually negotiating, yes. But just before the next round, I think it was the 6th, I'm not sure, that is when the attack was made by Israel of the 3 bombs. We don't know exactly whether they were those bombs that they said, the huge ones, but in any case, the attack took place. And the chief negotiator was killed. They knew who the one who was leading the negotiation was killed. But the Israelis seem to have a lot of information about who the negotiators and the bureaucrats and the scientists and everybody else, and they killed about 40 of them, not only them, but their families as well. They knew where they were in their homes. Okay, so somehow now they want them to come to the negotiating table again. I'm reminded of Ukraine at the very beginning of the war in April, I think it was, of 2022, when they were in Istanbul negotiating, and they practically had signed, Ukraine had signed whatever they agreed to, that then it was considered, you remember Boris Johnson going there, that no, they were not to agree to anything and to continue the war. And it seems that this is something similar, that they were negotiating and the new round was going to start. And so the aggression took place and the negotiator killed. Well, I mean, how are you going to negotiate? I mean, if you go to negotiate and you think that you're going to be killed, I mean, what kind of negotiation is that? You do what I tell you or you're killed, or I'll kill you. Okay. So Israel is an ally. Always talk about an ally of the West in the Middle East. What does it mean to be an ally? You have to have to be an ally. You have to have common ideals and goals and objectives. I think that many countries, although they do not express it, and not necessarily, even though they don't speak out against it, I don't think a lot of them are in favor of what is happening in Gaza or the extermination of those people. So they may not share all the goals and objectives, but do they actually help each other? Well, against potential threats, yes. In that sense, you could say you are an ally in that you exchange information, you exchange intelligence and so on. So in that way, they do work together, Israel and the West. And a third would be that you have a sort of a common domestic political system, as it were. And I don't know whether, however much Israel is supposed to be a democratic country, and internally it might be indeed, but in its relationship to the other countries, I don't think that this is the way that the rest of the European countries, for example, function. Okay, so that's about the war. Then something else, because I have been listening and I might do other videos on this because I am fascinated by the Jewish community who are not in Israel, Jewish community throughout the world, especially the Jewish community in the United States of America. And I am finding that even though they are a minority, quite a lot of Jews don't agree with what is happening in Gaza. But what surprises me is the number of rabbis that don't agree and speak out. And what I have been reading and listening, finding out, is that sometimes we just say, the Orthodox Jews, or sometimes you hear the ultra-Orthodox Jews, and then the secular Jews. But I think there are many more divisions and subdivisions. If you know anything, please put it in the comments, because I don't know. I'm just speaking out loud, sort of my thoughts about it. Because I was listening to one who is a Hasidic Jew. Now I ask myself, what is a Hasidic Jew exactly? Well, they also come from Eastern Europe. They are called, and they call themselves ultra-Orthodox, and they are against the state of Israel because they feel. I heard another rabbi, I don't remember the names, I am sorry, but you can find them. on YouTube, speaking out, another rabbi from New York, very famous, and I forget his name, Weiss, I think, who also disagrees, but they are from a different Orthodox Judaism. Okay, so what they are saying, the Hasidic Jew was saying that the identity of the Jews has been stolen by the Zionists. That's quite a thing to say, you know, that's, my goodness. He argued, if I can summarize it for you, that first of all, they are not supposed, the Jews are not supposed to have a country until it's something to do with the Messiah. Yes, until the Messiah comes, something. Okay, so many of the Orthodox Jews of different sections within Judaism agree with that, Orthodox Jews. Yeah, but he makes the point that they are doing what they're doing by cloaking themselves under the cloak of the religion of Judaism, and he doesn't think that they are following. Indeed, he says that they're not following the religion, that they are atheist or they're secular or something like that. But then he makes a point about nationality. And that is when he starts talking about not only of cloaking themselves under the religion of Judaism, which would prohibit them to make a nation, to create a nation before the Messiah comes, but he says it's a question also of stolen identity, because an Israeli citizen is not the same as a Jew. He says, you have the state of Israel, the citizens of Israel. This is the point he was making. The citizens of Israel are Israelis. Their passport is the passport of an Israeli, a citizen of Israel. And yet, then when they talk about themselves to the world, they mention the word Jews, which is, he's mad about that, because he says, no, in their passport, it doesn't say nationality Jew. No, that is not a nationality, he argues. That is a religion, it's something completely different. You are an Israeli of, a citizen of the state of Israel, and they are, he claims, confusing and, mixing these two things together. And he's not very happy about it. He thinks that they're taking advantage of the religion and hiding behind it, because God, he argues, prohibited them to create a nation. So he says, instead of waiting for the Messiah, or whatever the religion, he explains it much better, obviously, but what the religion says, they decided to create the nation. In other words, they have, against the Messiah, they have made the nation the Messiah. And to him, that is blasphemy. I'm going to find the video and put it on the description box, and perhaps of another rabbi, because I find this fascinating. There are many, many different factions within Judaism. And then what I want to say also, that I see a lot of videos about the Christian Zionists. The Christian Zionists. And I want to scream, because I don't think the evangelicals, I feel what the rabbi feels about the Zionists, I feel about the evangelicals, who have given themselves the word Christian, okay? And so to the rest of the world, that is what Christians are. And to me, for the longest time, they cannot call themselves Christians because they were, as I saw before, heretical Christians. If you are a heretic of a religion, you cannot then take the name of the religion and present yourself as such. But I have come to the conclusion, nevertheless, and I said this in another video, they're not even a Christian heresy. I think they're a heresy of Judaism rather than a Christian heresy. Because it is, if you go back and study the different heresies of Judaism, there were very many at the beginning of time and so on, but there was one very huge one, which was the millenarists and so on. And they were actually saying the same things, very similar to those that the American evangelicals are saying. Now, of course, then they say Jesus, Jesus, but I mean, if you put all your religion, you base it on the Old Testament, a misinterpretation of the Old Testament, never mind the New, the Old, and then you say Jesus, Jesus, then what you are is a heresy of Judaism, not of Christianity. They don't seem to pay much notice to the New Testament and the teachings of Jesus and the new law, which was transferred from the old law. So anyway, okay, so what we have, in my view, is that heretical Jews and heretical Christians got together and ruled the world. So how are we going to go back to normal and allow each country to do their own thing and not to hurt one another? And we will always have disagreements, nations, yes, but we are in a situation now that is really catastrophic, as you know. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here because being my birthday, I think I'm going to have a nice dinner now and a glass of wine. Okay. All right. Let me see what you have here. Happy birthday. Have a happy birthday to you, Lali, from Lagni, Vanya. Thank you. Bless you always. Thank you. You're so kind to me always. You're so kind. I love to meet you one day. I don't know. Isa Gabriel, we can't pretend that it is super when the world is more and more on fire, especially people who call themselves believers. So you do not make anybody depressed. All the best to you. Yeah, it's not my intention. It's just that the news are always so bad that sometimes I feel, okay, shall I just dance flamenco or something for you? Gee, you know so much. What shall I read you a story? Shall I do something else? But I can't because I am really, my mood changes with this news, and I don't think it's the time to just be looking away irresponsibly. So thank you for understanding that. Imelda Tobin, happy birthday. I just joined the stream, will replay. Okay, my darlings. So I'll leave it just half an hour today, which is quite an exception for me. But I will see you again. Q. Oh my goodness. Lagnivanya. $20. I've never ever received $20 from anybody. I have, oh my goodness, thank you. Happy birthday with 3 flowers. Thank you so very much. I've been doing this for 2.5 years now. And you know how much I have earned altogether with a few donations like that and a few pennies from the video, the commercials, the announcements that they put on the videos and so on. I think in 2.5 years, I might have earned about £200. So it's not. So it's not. It's I don't do it for the money, as you can see. I do it because it keeps me. It keeps me alive. It keeps me reading. It keeps me listening. It keeps me worried about, concerned about what am I going to talk about, that kind of thing. So I appreciate all of you who take. I really do. I really do appreciate people just sitting there and listen to me. Okay, so also don't forget that I created a members only, and that is just for preferably, well, not preferably, young people who might want to study sociology and political philosophy, and also for you who are curious about, as I say in every video, is just to give you the terms of reference, so that then when you hear politics, geopolitics, if you haven't studied the subject formally, you might be a little bit confused all over, because everyone has very good arguments, you see, and you listen to this and you say, oh yeah, that sounds, perhaps that's, and the other one the same. So to give you the intellectual, the backdrop, yeah, to the terms of reference, so that for you adults, if you're interested, I'm doing sociology and government and politics, the UK system of education. But I will extend it, I think, once I get used to it and I get into a rhythm, I will extend it to international relations too, so that you get the framework again of the different schools of thought, the liberal, the realist school. You have heard of Professor Mearsheimer, for example. He is from the realist school. How do they approach international relations? Okay, so for the time being, I have sociology and politics. And if you're interested, those videos come up on Mondays and Wednesdays by 8 o'clock in the evening, UK time. You have them there. Okay, so I'll wrap it up. Thank you so much. That's a lovely birthday present. $20. My goodness, I'm doing well. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye.